Well, hello, welcome. Welcome to Scotty's Toy Box. I'm Scotty, and this is my toy box. I'm doing a short video today with bad camera pickup and half so audio because I want to say something and get it off my chest. This is a Scotty's Rant. So pick up some of that there internet, grab yourself a seat, get a good drink. We'll have a short real talk. I am upset over this whole out of control, overblown caravan to the border situation. Now look, you could have picked that whole dang caravan up and set it down in some of the states here in the United States. People wouldn't even have noticed there was an extra person there. There are some places that are so underpopulated. One town I know of asked for refugees, asked for immigrants, and it saved the town because the young people were moving out. It created new businesses, new economy, everything went good. Now, let's get to the specifics. $200 million it's costing us to move troops to the border. Well, you say we got to have secure, strong borders. Yeah, I don't mind that. And I don't mind legal entry checkpoints. What I do mind is this caravan is headed towards a legal entry checkpoint. And the other day, about 80 or so of them showed up in Tijuana. And the people at the checkpoint got so upset they closed down northbound lanes. Traffic was backed up for, I cannot tell you how many miles. I've been through the Tijuana checkpoint. It's a nightmare to begin with. You close down lanes coming into the country. But maybe it was all them extra border patrol people that helped, right? No, I'm sorry not. Let's talk about where these troops were sent. They were sent to a corner of Texas where there ain't no immigrants coming across. Just ain't happening. They are not there. They are not going there. As one of our Congress people put it, the troops are digging each other's latrines and sitting around with a lot to do of nothing. They're eating MREs because they don't have power generation equipment, enough of it, and they don't have enough of everything they need. Because instead of, now look, if a unit gets deployed, the unit goes with all its support unit stuff. But that's not how they did it this time. You know, these field units, they have field kitchens, and they have generators out to Kazuzu, generator trucks. I mean, really, some really great stuff. And that was just back when I was in, before I had gray beard and gray hair, and you know, when I was in my 20s. It was back when Flintstone and I ran around using dinosaurs as transportation. Fact is, they hand chose and grabbed different groups of people and not whole units and sent them to the borders where they can't do any good. Fact is, the Posey-Coma Act, or whatever it's called, simply forbids U.S. troops from enforcing law in the United States. Enforcing laws. They can't do it. Now, the defense secretary went down to this group in Texas. And we'll get to the Arizona one in a minute. But he went down to where they are setting up in Texas, and that in a corner, right in the corner of Texas on the border. Nobody's coming, but they're there in case they do. And one of the troops said, what's our mission? That's a good thing. You always have to know your mission. And our Secretary of Defense said, you're here to build confidence. Huh? Build confidence. Yes. Secretary of Homeland Security was with him, and he said, her people will do all the stuff. They'll work with the immigrants. They're part of the border patrol. They do all that. And what do? And he said, you give them confidence because they know you're standing behind them. Well, first of all, I'm 900 and some miles or whatever that border length is along Texas there, 1,100 miles or whatever. away from them to give them any kind of confidence. And that's all legally they can do. They can see and report, just like any other civilian, any other person. Yep. Hey, yeah, we just watched 15 people run across the border. They're headed about, northeast by northwest and whatever, They can't interfere with them. They can't stop them because we're not at war. This is a civil, legal law. It's a civil law. Troops cannot enforce it without a declaration of martial law, which, thank God, we haven't got to yet. So I know the troops were totally like, oh shit, we're going to be out here in this fucking heat past Thanksgiving and that, so we can give confidence. But at least they're on the border. The troops that are sent to Arizona, I found out today, are 90 miles from the border. What are they there checking for? Helicopters coming in? I don't know. Drones? I guess drones are big now. Everybody's got a drone. I need a drone. I haven't got one. What do I need a drone for? I can see too much of my neighbor's shit now. Anyway. So you got troops stationed in the corner of Texas where they can't meet anybody, who the defense secretary says is not going to be dealing with immigrants. You got troops 90 miles from the border in Arizona who are not going to be dealing with immigrants. You got the border crossing, the legal border crossing, where these people want to go and turn themselves in, closing lanes down because they're terrified, because they've heard about all these horror stories. Now, let's make something clear. These people aren't coming to invade. They're not sneaking across anywhere. They are simply trying to find a better life. And I've been reading about this pastor who went down there and joined up with them. He's walking with them because he heard so much horrible stuff he wanted to see for himself. Turns out they're not the scary villains you've been hearing about. There are women scared that their children they've had children kidnapped and killed. They're terrified their youngest are going to be kidnapped and killed. They are people LGBT people who were threatened, have been beaten up, have been raped, have been harmed, and they just simply want a decent chance. They're not invading. The law says they can come and turn themselves in and ask for asylum, and that's what they're doing. To do that, they have to get on our soil. Now, if they were to come across the border illegally along that stretch, flag down a border patrol guy, hey, come over here. I just walked over here illegal. I don't live in your country, but I'd like asylum, please. That's frickin' legal. Because that's the way they have to do it. And the international law says you can do it too. You could go to Canada. You could go to Mexico. Walk across the border and flag somebody down and ask, either if it's an official, tell them that you're there to seek asylum. If it's not an official, ask to be taken to the nearest authorities. That's frickin' international law, and it's legal, and we've signed on to that. That is not an invasion. Okay? That is not an invasion. And again, like I said, this whole thing was a political stunt. And so that's my rant. Now there's one slight more part I want to add, and I hope you're listening. Today I read of a man and a younger man who came across the border. And 911 got a call. He was lost, disoriented, had no food, no water, in the hot sun. The nephew had already stopped responding. They needed help. 2 deaths. Trying to escape violence. Trying to escape death. They found death in America. In our country, on our shore, they found that death. Why? would we have been so greatly harmed to show a little compassion, a little civility, and say, we will process you, and while we're processing you, we want some restrictions or whatever, but we will take your statements. We will find out whether you should be here, shouldn't be here, whether we can find a spot for you. But God dang it all, there are people dying to get here. And we have people that won't even vote because they're citizens. And don't get me started on this crap about Lou Dobbs saying that, millions of illegals are voting, and Trump saying, oh, they're going to their car and changing their hats. There are no illegal voters. Then why stand 3 hours in the line just to be arrested and deported? Okay? Nobody's going to their car and changing hats. This is from somebody who has no frickin' idea what people go through to vote legally. All right. It's been a Scottie's Rant. It's going on a little over 11 minutes, so thank you very much, and I hope I've made some sense. If you got questions, ask them. I'll answer them. Hey, look, everybody, I love you. This thing's just really upsetting to me. I don't like using the troops politically, and I sure to heck don't like people dying for no reason. Thank you very much. Lots of loves, and as always, hugs.